And okie dokes. Well, thanks, ladies, for coming along. Thank you so much. I just want to, obviously, you're all aware that I love talking about money. It's not something that I've always done. Actually, that didn't start. There we go. Not something I've always been comfortable with, and I certainly wasn't raised to, you know, talk openly about money. It was something that you didn't really talk about. So that's obviously times have changed, and that's why I like sharing these money talk webinars, because it's just like, if it's something that you're not comfortable talking about, then how do you get better ideas and change maybe what you're doing if it needs changing? So
Jenny, I think you need to mute. I think you need to mute Weena, because there's a bit of noise. You can mute people because it's your line.
Is Weena here? Hi, Weena. I didn't see more people. Thanks, Kat. Just muted you, Weena, because there's a little bit of background noise. All right, so yeah, as a result of you know, money not being something that we talk about very clearly, I felt our money and felt out control of it. So this led me to making choices which maybe weren't the best choices that I would have made. And if I'd probably discussed them with other people, then, you know, we probably would have made a choice. So also has been planning to become aware of how communication and language create lives. And so I think it's really important to be able to understand our need about becoming emotional and how to react to those needs. So that really helps us have a better success money. And more people have their money stress, obviously, out there, trying to do it. I like to help benefit. So what I do is I keep my business, we've got better things to do, worry about bills. If any issues, we come back them, the means and listen to apps. I do that by a Facebook page, use a webinar, and for one being support accountability service. Okay, and my point is, it's not how to say accounts. So it's only growing that rich people can be unhappy, not all of them, but it doesn't seem to be. Obviously, there's stereotypes like regions like that. So poor people inherit that sort of connotations that I've picked up. So it's no wonder I kept sabotaging my efforts to succeed. And my goal is to maintain inner peace, independent of the bank balance, my bank balance, as I believe life is enjoyable. So that's why I'm doing that. And I mean, you guys will know these sorts of things, but things I'm doing then. I'll be making have 5 doors, age 1, 5, 11, and 13. I'm going to have to just 2 on the weekend. Everything to do with nature. And then we travel 20,000 kilometres to Australia, so we quite but enough about me. Today we have Lopera, this is Sol, and she's in Canada. LA, sorry. So it's about Catalina, she's an entrepreneur focused on helping others connect with the true expression of their soul through online lab events, which she's made. So she's a purpose here. So in search for purpose meaning, her life, Catalina has battled with anxiety and depression, which has ultimately led her to find her inner wisdom. So realising how to well lead this deep connection, and so now helping people to live a better, more meaningful life. So welcome, Kat.
Thank you.
That's good. I'm going to go back to stop that share so we can see your beautiful face a bit more. And I've got some questions here. So
sure, let's dive in.
We'll dive right in. Yeah, obviously people know we've been talking about this stuff for a few months now, so I think it's you know, part of the money conversation. It's not what everyone's talking about, but it's really interesting once you I find it really interesting anyway. Hopefully everyone else will. So could you just give us a little bit of background on what's created your current money beliefs?
My current ones or the ones that I grew up with?
Probably both. Yeah.
Yeah, because I grew up, you know, I grew up in a middle class family. We didn't have a lot of money, but we also didn't lack it really. But my parents come from poor families, both of them, and so growing up, I was always told to take really good care of money. You know, like type of thing, like money doesn't grow on trees. You know, be careful with what you spend your money on. You know, just believes that also that money only comes by hard work, that type of thing. So
yeah, I'm still working on that one.
Yeah, aren't we all? That's a tough one because it's so ingrained, I think, in society as well. Like it's reinforced to us by society, not only by our parents or religious beliefs or anything like that. So society is always telling us that only people that work really, really hard have a lot of money. Yet when you actually look deeper into it, that's not actually true. The people that work the less have the most money. So isn't that ironic? So there's something off there.
You said the people that work the least have the most money?
Yep. If you look into it, the richest people in the world, not everyone, right? Because everyone's different. but
Mhm.
they don't necessarily work the most. I do believe they work, but it's not necessarily that they work the hardest or the most hours, which is
Yeah.
what we equate with hard work these days.
Yeah.
The most time you spend on something, the more return is going to give you. And that's just not true when you really look into it logically as well.
Yeah.
But sometimes logic, the problem with beliefs is that, they don't follow logic. Like some beliefs are logical and then it's easier for your mind to kind of follow them. But some beliefs are just, the reason is telling you something different, but you still believe it because it's your belief. And the only way to change it is to
Yeah.
dive deep into it and really, first of all, become aware of it, and then find another story that you do want to believe. But we'll go into that later. But anyway,
Yeah.
those are the beliefs that I grew up with, and then over time, I normally I had a normal life. I went off to work. I did what everyone is supposed to do: go to uni, graduate, look for a job, la la la. It's interesting because my family, actually nobody in my family works for anyone else. I mean, when I say that, I just mean in my close family. Like my dad is a dentist and my mom is an entrepreneur, actually.
Yeah.
So, but I was taught to learn something that I could then charge money for. And it's interesting that my family took a different path, but I was always taught that anyway. And
Mm-hmm.
also because being an entrepreneur, like it was hard, and I could see it. My mom worked a lot, right? And so again, we come back to the belief of like having money. You only have money through hard work. So
Mm.
I don't
So
know. At one point,
your family were encouraging you to learn a trade where you could exchange your time for money, but they weren't
yeah,
doing that themselves.
they were, but in a different
Yep.
way. Like
Yeah.
my dad was exchanging his time for money. He had a practice, a dental practice, but he was still exchanging his time for money. Like
Mm.
um, yeah, because that's what dentists do anyway. Like you only have a certain amount of appointments during the day,
Yes.
and that's all you can charge. So you have a ceiling, right? And same with my mom. She was an entrepreneur, but she was working really hard. She had her own clothing factory, and she had to work really, really long hours, which I could see because I would spend my afternoons after school there.
Mm.
That's how
Yeah.
I grew up. So seeing her work really hard for what we had, which wasn't a lot, it was like, it was good, it was fine, but it wasn't like there was abundance of everything. No, we never lacked anything, but it certainly wasn't abundance. So yeah, those beliefs were really ingrained, and
Yeah.
I just thought that it was interesting that they were having different paths to what normal people do, which is go to uni, find a job. And yet I was encouraged to do what the society was telling them. What your
Mm.
kid needs to do is go to uni, find a job where she gets paid a lot of money, which is,
Mm.
again, you go out of uni, you find out that's not exactly true. That's not how it works. Actually, you get exploited for the first few years after you go out of uni, right?
So
But yeah,
what's your experience, Catalina, with controlling money? Has there been a time in your life where you tried to control it?
absolutely, absolutely. I usually in my life, it's just interesting to kind of see where I am now and maybe where I was, say, 5, 6 years ago. um I used to be such a control freak in so many aspects of my life, money being one of them. I just wanted to know everything, every single thing. What is going to happen tomorrow? What is going to happen next year? How are we going to plan the next holiday, the next, um, whatever it was, anything and everything. I needed to have it planned out, including money. And I've always, in the past, have wanted to control money and to really at any one point know how much is coming in and how much is going out. And that is it used to be a very big source of stress for me, because
Mm.
it's that aspect of life, like, of course money is something that is needed, to live life.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone uses money, everyone needs money to exchange it for services, products, etc., that we need to live our lives comfortably. And controlling it wasn't giving me any joy at all, because
Okay.
I realized that I was trying to control money, but what was actually happening is what that money was controlling me, because every single one of my decisions had to be checked in with money. So
Mhm.
I want to make a decision. Is there enough money to do it? And that's where my decision would come from, not from myself, but from my bank account.
I think a lot of people make their decisions based on what the money is available, and if the money's not there, then that's a no. Definitely.
How do you make your decisions?
The way that we've talked about, which we'll go into.
Okay. I'm going to turn on the light here because I think it's getting a bit dark.
Okay, sure.
Let's see. Okay.
Let there be light.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so what's your experience then with trusting money?
Well, trusting money is a whole different game.
Absolutely.
It's like getting a little upgrade, because all of a sudden you're trusting that energy of money, and that is going to come when you need it, and that you don't have to worry about it. And that's just a sense of peace, I guess. But I mean, it's not just money, right? It's more about trusting myself than money itself.
Yeah.
Like, it's never about money.
Yeah.
It's never about money. We talk about money, but it's really not about money. And when I say trusting myself, I'm not talking about this little person over here sitting across from you called Catalina. I'm talking about trusting God, the universe, the higher part of me, whatever you want to call it, my higher self. There's so many names for it. Source of energy, anything that resonates with you or anyone here present.
Yeah.
And that is a trust that you really work for. It's not, it's actually a given. It's a given. It's available to anyone and it's just there. But to access it, you pay for it, because there is hard work to be done. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, definitely. It seems like once you understand the theory, it seems like it should be really simple and straightforward, but be able to do it every day is where the challenge comes in.
Totally, exactly, in the practice, right?
So you would say that the controlling comes from the ego then? The ego wants to control and organize.
I would say so, yeah.
And then the trust comes from getting out of the ego and more into your own wisdom, your inner guide. Yeah,
that's what I would say. I think the ego is always trying to control everything. Other people, money, relationships, what this person said, all of that, right? Like, it's just trying to control everything around it. And the truth is that it's impossible. Like, when has it ever worked out that you tried to control money and it actually worked? Or that you tried to control your kid and it actually worked? Like, that's the good one. Yeah, try to control a 2-year-old. Good luck. I mean...
Yeah, well, I think that's what started me on this journey, actually. It's probably having kids and realizing I've got more kids than hands. And you just have to start releasing control and realizing that you can't, super micromanage everything. And I'm sure Celia's nodding. And it's part of that sense of things actually turning out without you trying to make it happen. And sometimes when you do try and when you release that sense of control, that things can work out better than what you would have. She says yes. Things would be better than what you had predicted or hoped for anyway. So this sense of control is, well, from our journey, through having business close down and go traveling and doing different things, it really opened my eyes to what's possible when you do release control. And it's not always because like we receive lots of negative situations, or we can receive negative situations, but there's also equally positive situations that happen too. So we've just got to be open to those coming in as well. And what I've learned recently through you and through Amir, who we have in common, is that, situations happen and they're not negative or positive situations. It's really how we interpret it is the
meaning
difference.
that we choose to give them.
It's the ego that makes you think, oh, this was good or this was bad, but really it just happened.
Yeah, it's
And
just what's there. It's just what's
yeah,
present. Yeah, totally.
really.
So that's what the ego really always does, right? It's just going into that judgment, and it does it with everything. So with money is the same thing. It's about, a situation that presents itself with money. It's a bad situation, or it's a good situation, or this is a lot of money, and this is too little money, or there's never enough, or there is plenty. Like, because there is both, like we're talking here about the whole spectrum. Because even rich people, people who might have a lot of money, they still struggle with this. They still struggle with controlling it. Not everyone understands what it means to actually let it flow, let money flow. In the same way that you were talking about your kids and that you had to release control, that is the same work that we have to do with money. It's just that because it's such a basic thing for survival, our limbic system, our primary mind takes over, and that's where the ego resides. But it's always that primal side of ourselves, because it's about survival. So it's just a big deal, right? But really there's just no point in controlling it, because just think about it. Every time that you think you want to control money, what it's actually doing is money is controlling you. You're making every single decision based on it. And is that really how you want to live your life? Fuck no, I don't know. That's my answer.
I think I've got written here in the notes when we're talking about it, you said, do I want my life to be dictated by my bank account?
Exactly, right? Like, who does? I don't know.
Well, unless we got a really great bank account. Okay, then maybe, but
no,
but
not
still
even.
no. Okay, right, yep.
Well,
Teach me.
that's what I think, because like even if you have a really big bank account and your
Yeah.
life is dictated by it, like how sad is that? So does that then mean that every single decision that you make is around money?
Yeah.
So that's also limiting, regardless of whether the bank account is a really good one, because you're limiting yourself to whatever money can buy, and not everything can be bought by money.
Absolutely. That's part of the journey that we went on.
Yeah.
Yeah. And an exercise I did recently with my clients in our support group was thinking about, listing 10 things that you're abundant in, not including money. So, and just, that's a quick exercise you can do to really start thinking where the wealth is in your life, regardless of money. So
Absolutely.
we tend to attribute, wealth and success and happiness with money, but that's not always the case.
It's definitely not the only thing that makes us wealthy.
No. How do we let go of control, Catalina?
Well, that one is a tough one, because it's definitely not easy. I mean, and again, for everyone is a little bit different, the journey. But in my experience, control is only released when we understand that we don't have any control. So if it's
just a decision, is it?
It's just a decision. It's as simple as a decision, except that you have to make it continuously, because in the beginning it feels like a really odd decision, right?
Odd decision,
it feels unfamiliar, it feels weird, it feels uncomfortable. It feels really, but the truth is that, so the control is just it's an illusion, because even when we think we have control over something, that's actually never the case. Then something happens that twists for us, and we realize we never had control in the first place. It's impossible to have control over anything. But when we really truly realize and internalize that, we start to realize that it's better to trust, because the control game is a very demanding game. You have to be on top of it. You have to be on it, right? You have to be on it every single day. You have to do your accounts. You have to make sure that there's enough money for this, if I'm gonna pay. So you're always in your mind about it, always in your head. I have a bill coming in next week, so I have to make sure that there's some money. Just playing with it is it's like playing with Legos, and you have to be on it. So that is an exhausting game. I got tired of that game. I didn't want to play it anymore.
Tiring, and and when you realize it's not working anyway,
Well, exactly. When you realize actually you don't have any control anyway, because there you are planning to pay the bill for next week, and boom, something happens this week where I don't know, you got in an accident, and so that money that you were saving for that bill next week, you have to pay it this week because there's something more pressing, more urgent that just came up. So you never had any control.
Yeah. Can I just ask if anyone can type in the chat box if you've had success controlling money in the past? If that's something that you've tried to do, or maybe you haven't even.
We have to also make a differentiation between controlling money and being organized with money,
That's what I just wrote down before. Plan versus control. Is planning different to control? Because I've been sort of associating planning with a form of control, but that's what I'm realizing, there is a difference there.
Well, I don't know what you call planning, and I guess everyone's opinion and everyone's description of it might be different. I don't call it planning because I could never plan for my expenses, because that is, in my opinion, a form of control. But what I do is I organize my expenses, because there's an order to things, and it's helpful to be orderly in your affairs.
Yeah.
So that I find that that's different. It's when you get constrained by that plan, when it doesn't give you freedom, but instead it feels constraining, that it feels like it's controlling you, where you are trying to by you trying to control it and making a plan or a budget or whatever it is that you want to call it, then it gives you this constraint, and then it makes you feel that way. But and by saying that, okay, I'm not saying that having a budget is wrong or that planning for your money is wrong. It's just how you do it and how it makes you feel.
Yeah, absolutely.
So there can be freedom in it. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. It can be very freeing to have at least that sense of organisation that you're saying, so that you know what's expected, and well, not but you've got a feeling of organisation. Maybe not a feeling of complete control to the, to the cent and this sort of thing, but you have a level of organisation happening. I see that Celia's written organised, yes, control, ha, 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 ha. Yeah. And Amira's got, I thought so, but turns out only for fleeting moments. Okay, so she thought she had things under control, but it turns out it was only inconsistently. And Peter says, I've tried to control, I would say, with no success. Okay, so hopefully everyone's in the right spot here to listen to this and learn about some other options.
Another thing is that I think organization, I just wanted to add this quick note, because being organized with money, I think, or with anything really. I mean, again, we talk about money, but
we're talking about money, but it's everything.
Yeah. It shows respect, and the fact is that money is an energy just like anything else, and it shows respect for it, so you have to, it's like giving it a space, it's a place to live, and you give it a little bit, so it shows respect, and that's different, right? We're not talking about control there, so I just wanted to make differentiation.
And sometimes it is interesting to think about money as a person as opposed to money, because how you would treat another person might be different to how you would treat money, so that can help you.
Sure.
Am I being respectful? Am I giving it some space? Am I being loving and kind, or am I trying to control it? And when you bring in control, it's like nobody wants to be controlled. And so if you can think about your money as a person sometimes, and think about your money relationship, then that can help just maybe get closer to a new way of working with your money. Okay.
For sure.
What's my next one? How do I reclaim power? So this is about space, isn't it?
Okay, so I think we haven't quite delved into that, so maybe we need to give a bit of background. So when we were talking about trying to control money, and we were saying, if I try to control money, I realize actually controlling me, because I'm having to base my decisions on it. That means that I'm giving my power away to money, right? Or to anything else, anything else. Okay, so whatever I'm trying to control, it's actually controlling me, which means that who has the power over me? That thing that I'm trying to control. And I've given my power away. So how do I reclaim my power?
Mm.
Now, well, I feel that that's a very deep question, and we
It
could
is
go on
very
talking
interesting.
about that for
That's a whole
a
other world.
while. That's a whole other world. But let's just say that for now, and anyone can ask any questions, I guess, if they feel called to do it. Yeah, it's about space. It's about giving it space. It's about, first of all, having the awareness, right? Having the
Having what?
awareness,
Sorry, I missed it.
the awareness
Awareness,
that
yeah.
that I've given my power away. So
Yeah,
having the
absolutely.
awareness, I've given my power away. Then understanding what are the emotions that are coming up for me about that thing. Why is it that I'm trying to control it? What is it
Mm.
giving me, and how am I feeling about it? Clearly, there's a sense of something there. It might be, I don't know, it might be a discomfort somehow,
Mm-hmm.
a different feeling there. So realizing what the emotion that is there is about. And it's often never about the thing that I'm trying to control, is about me, right?
Yeah.
Sitting with the emotion and giving it space, it's what's going to shift it. Because often when there's an emotion and we keep on feeling the emotion, it's not the emotion that we're feeling, it's the resistance to that emotion. Emotions and feelings are energy that moves through us if we let it.
Yeah.
But we never let it. We're always trying to resist it. We're always feeling sad or upset or whatever, and trying not to feel that way, resisting it. And
Yeah.
that resistance is what creates then that clog and that, yeah, I
Yeah.
don't even know how to call it. It's almost like I feel like a little ball of energy that is like tough and rough and like a rock in your, like a way in your body, or like something like this.
Yeah.
That's what it is for me, and for different people might be different.
Yeah.
So
So
when
when
we
we talk
stop
about money blocks, so we've got allowance.
allowing, yeah, exactly, so allowing it to be there, giving it space. And what does it mean to give something space? It means to just be with it, become one with it, be present with it,
Mm.
just let it be. And this sometimes or often can feel very uncomfortable, but being okay with being uncomfortable is one of the hardest and biggest and most important pieces of work that we can ever do, in my opinion, because the truth is that it's an illusion. Like, that discomfort that we feel with the unknown is just an illusion, because the unknown is actually beautiful. The unknown actually tells us that the possibilities for something
Mm.
are infinite. That's
Mm.
where the infinite possibilities come from, is from the unknown. So if we're not willing to sit in the unknown, in the
Mm.
presence of the
Yeah.
unknown, we have no chances. We're going to always
Yeah.
limit our options,
Yeah.
and we're going to always judge what our options are and limit
Yeah.
them to A, B, or Z, and that's it.
So when you're looking for options in your ego, they're always limited. And so you're limited by your bank balance, or you're limited by the time you have available. But when you go through, you have awareness, and you allow your emotions to flow and you stay present, then that's when you open up the door to infinite possibilities. Is that what you would say?
That's what I would say, yes.
Okay.
That's
And
what I'm
so
saying.
how do they arrive normally?
What? Sorry, arrive what?
Infinite possibilities. What does
Oh,
that look like?
well, that's what we don't know, right? It could be anything. That's the thing. Like, see, for example, in my experience, when I've allowed myself to trust, again, we're talking about money here, so it's just keeping on the example. If I allow myself to trust money and the energy of money, for it to flow, I know that when money comes in, I don't know what it's coming for. I don't know what that's for. And then something comes up, out of the unknown, because I've allowed it space to be. I'm not immediately being like, oh, this needs to be, this bill needs to be paid. No, it's coming for something. Every bit of money has purpose, and it's coming into my life. Money is just a flow. Money is always coming and going. So if you're attaching yourself to it, if you're like hugging it and attaching it, you're making it stuck. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's always coming in and out, and I allow that flow to happen. So if something comes in, I don't know what it's for until I know. what, something happens and I know, I get a
Yeah.
feeling, or I get an idea, or I get an inspiration, and then I know, oh, that's what that money's for. And usually it's so funny because the amounts will usually match. It's like, for example, just as an example, if I wanted a while back, I wanted to do this course, and it was $5,000, and I didn't have $5,000, right? And I was like, oh, but I really wanted to do this course, but I didn't want to do this course as in, oh, I want to do this course. I just felt it. I felt that the course was for me, that it felt true for me to do that course, and I just felt it within myself. So I knew, okay, I acknowledged that I wanted to do the course, and I didn't have $5,000, so I just allowed it to be. And then this credit got approved for me. And some people might think like, oh, you don't want to go into debt, blah, blah, but I felt that that money was there for that. The credit got paid so easily. I didn't even feel it. I did not even feel it. So the credit came in. It was a pre-approval. I was like, oh, okay, someone's handing me money. I guess I'm going to take it and pay for the course with it. And then, it got paid. It got paid. It got taken care of. But if I was here, if I had wanted to do the course and I had put it on my credit card and strategized about it and be like, okay, so maybe I can put it and maybe pay it over whatever, I don't know how many months. I don't know. If I had strategized about it, I'm sure I would still be paying that debt of that credit card.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's the thing, just money just flows in and out, and it always has a different purpose, and you just have to tune into
that. It's got a lot to do with the feeling at the time. Sometimes you put something on a credit card and it feels bad when you do it, because you don't want to do that, and it takes forever to pay off, and the whole time you're in resistance to this debt.
Exactly.
It's different to what you just said, where it's something that you love and it just happened and it flowed and it felt good.
Exactly.
And it got paid instantly, like you didn't even notice it. So same thing. And I forgot to say at the start, girls, obviously we're not giving any financial advice today, or, I'm not a qualified financial advisor or anything like that. We're just, giving you ideas on some different things that you can think about. We're certainly not saying to do any of this, but you know what I mean. Think it through for yourself, see how it sits for you, and
explore.
Exactly. I've just completely lost your train of thought there, haven't I, Kat?
Yeah, that's okay. That you were talking about how it gets paid easily, as opposed to when you feel really constrained about putting something on a credit card, and then it's just
if it feels bad at the start, then you just don't.
Exactly right. Exactly right. So that's when you're spending money not from love but from need, right?
Yeah.
And that's a very different place to spend. Yeah, exactly. It's a very different place to spend money from need than from love, or to do anything from need that from love. It's always going to feel, and how do we know about those decisions? Like for me, it's about how they feel. Do they feel expansive? Do they feel contraction? Do I feel a contraction around it? Do I feel an expansion around it? And then that's how I make my decisions every single time. I just check in with myself, and how does this feel for me? How does this actually sit with me? And trusting that is actually one of the biggest pieces of work that we can do, because it's allowing your ego to step aside and trusting that inner, deeper part of yourself that is connected to everything else to make the decisions for you. And sometimes the decisions are not easy.
No. Do you have an example or of an exercise people can do just with basic things, maybe without money, but how they can check in with themselves to whether something's expansive or contractive?
Yeah, I mean, it really depends. We could go to an exercise now if everyone wants to do that, but I guess it just depends. I don't know where everyone is at in their journeys, but it depends a lot on that, because depends on where you are. It can be a really simple thing to do, or it just takes more time, But I would say to start with breathing. That just being present, becoming present is one of the biggest things that you could do to to check in with yourself, because you're not gonna be able to check in with yourself if you're thinking about the bill, or the kids that are gonna drop off at school tomorrow, or what happened yesterday with my partner, or whatever many things that we have maybe in our mind at one point or another. So first of all, becoming present, and going within. I find the breath for me is one of the biggest tools to do that. Meditation, again, I don't know where everyone is at with it, whatever the practices are. I meditate. I find it really useful for me and very supportive. Some people don't, or some people don't have the time, but I just find that even 3 breaths, conscious breaths though, like not just any breath, just like, no, just conscious breathing to bring you back to the present moment. That's the first thing that needs to happen, because otherwise how can you even tell what's going on within you if you're not here, if you're like lost in your mind, right? So that's one of the tools that I use. And then really checking in with you within yourself, the energy. This is a very subtle thing, but I'm sure we can all relate to whenever you take 3 deep breaths and then you ask a question, whatever question you want to make a decision about. Let's take the example of the course. Is this course something for me? Right? And you check in with yourself. You are absolutely going to feel it. It's either going to feel like an expansion, like an energy that feels good, that feels just expansive, just true, just versus something that feels very contracted. But sometimes it's very hard to overcome the ego in these situations, because the ego can tell us, oh no, that feels really contractive because it's $10,000 or whatever, however, I don't know. Because when we start going up with the quantities, it gets harder. So I would say, again, depending on what everyone is, start with smaller things. Start with like, should I turn right or left here, or like smaller things that you feel, I do it all the time with traffic. How you're like, maybe not where you are, but in Sydney where I used to live, or now in LA, which traffic is crazy. I'm like I pick a lane, and then my ego starts wanting like to go to the next lane that seems to be moving faster. So I check in with myself. I just do it really quickly, and every time I trust it, and every time I'm right. But it just takes, it's like building a muscle, building a little intuitive muscle of how it actually feels like, and proving yourself right, because it takes time to build that muscle. So I do it all the time with that. I love that as an exercise, because sometimes my intuition will tell me to stay in the lane that I'm in, and I can see that it's the fucking lane that is the slowest one, and I'm there, and my mind is telling me like, look at the right lane, is like moving super fast, go there, go to left, whatever. And I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna stay here. And then I pass the car that was like passing me before, and I'm like, okay, there you go. Like, and I just have to stick to it and then prove myself right, to be able to trust it. And it's like building that little muscle of
So I think it's good to practice on maybe things. If you think money's important, then practice on things that you feel are not important, like what you want to have for lunch, or whether you should go to the shop this morning or this afternoon, like just little things, and build up gradually. Yeah.
Should I nag my kid now or later?
Cool. So I don't know, the question I've got here, what does emotion have to do with money?
Well, it's got everything to do with it. Like if we go back to the reclaiming power process that we talked about, emotion is attached to money. We always make these decisions from an emotional place, right? And that's when we make often the wrong decision, because we let ourselves be led by those emotions that, since we learned before, are not actually emotions, but the resistance to those emotions that we're feeling. So whenever we have to make a decision around money, around spending money here or investing money there, whatever it might be, if we are having an emotion about it, if I'm feeling emotional about making that call, because it might be a lot more money than I'm used to do, or it might be that it feels,
maybe you've had a bad past experience with investing.
Exactly. It could be so many
seen someone else have a bad experience with investing.
Yeah, or you have these beliefs, that investing is only for rich people. Might be, a belief that you have there. Whatever. Like, it's just, it could be so many different things. And the first thing, again, just sorry to go back here, but the first thing again is being aware of those beliefs, because sometimes we're not even aware of those beliefs, and someone has to point them out to you, which is helpful sometimes. This is why it's helpful to work with someone else who can see it for you, because we're not, it's sometimes it's hard to see things for ourselves. So anyway, what does it have to do with emotions? So when we make emotional decisions from that resistance place, we're not making decisions from our center, right? We're making decisions from the emotion, and that's always going to lead us astray, because it's that's an ego thing. The ego is the one that gets attached to the emotion or to the resistance of the emotion, rather than letting it flow.
Yeah, very good. So much information, Catalina. Everyone take that in for a minute. Has anyone got any questions? We're at 1:45, so just wondering if you guys have got any specific questions that are here. We'll have a think about it, because we will have questions at the end as well. Did you have anything else you wanted to add, Kat, or I'm just going to jump through some of the...
Yeah, I mean, I guess one thing that was really key for me in my journey was understanding that, how we call money, like my money, this is my money, this is my investment. This, one of the things that really helped me a lot was understanding that money is never mine. It never is.
Okay. Yeah.
So just, that possessive feeling of like my money, my investment. Again, with anything it works. My kids, my husband, blah, blah, like nothing's really yours. It's there for you, but it's not yours. It's there for you to experience. It's there for you to let it flow, but it's not yours. And that was a big mind shift for me, because silly saying, that's big. Yeah, it's a good one, because think about it. It isn't. These are all reflections of you. Whatever is going on in your life is a reflection of your inner world, and it's not yours. It's not yours. It's there for you to enjoy. It's there for you to spend. It's there for you to whatever,
learn from,
fight
maybe.
with. I don't know.
Yeah.
So many things, but the spectrum is big. Like, why do we always want to have good experiences? We have this attachment to this judgment that we're talking in the beginning, the duality of like good versus bad, and it's just what is. Just experience it for what it is, enjoy it for what it is. Yes, you're having trouble in this moment, okay, enjoy it. I mean, I know that it sounds hard, but really there is joy under experience, because it's teaching us something. So what is this teaching me? What is this showing me? How is this here for me, not happening to me? That the victim mentality, So anyway, understanding that nothing is yours, it's a big one for me. It was a very big one for me.
Yeah, absolutely agree with that. And often reframing, how is this good for me? If you can't see, if it doesn't seem like at the moment that it is a good thing, then you can say, how is this?
What is this
showing
helping
me?
Myself? Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Glad I heard that today. Thank you, Amira. Right place, right time. Okay. Kat, I'm just going to run through some of the dot points that I put in that we'd be sharing today. Happy to have your input as well. I'm not going to end the meeting. I nearly pressed that. So if I go back to share, we'll just run through these slides. Don't be put off by the words. There's a lot of words on each page, and I'll just read through them quickly. I'm going to share.
I don't think you're sharing it. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Click that. And click that. Here we go. Okay. So the dot points that I had in the promotion were how to pay your bills on time without a visit from the fund police. So this is where I think Catalina will agree that your daily habits have the biggest impact on your wealth. And as we've talked about, daily habits is being present and really making decisions based on what you love and that expansive feeling. So ideally what I'd love for people to do is to set an appointment. So make a date with yourself to sit down with a tea or coffee and do some planning. So we're not going to try and control your money, but we do want to plan for it. We want to be respectful. So it only needs to be 10 minutes a week, but the time and stress you will save will be well worth it. Not to mention that the money you'll save as well. So we've already identified that money is one of your resources, but also time and energy is yours as well. So we want to look at the big picture of planning. And I want you to set a date, even in your head, or get your diary out and set a date when you can, like, just set 10 minutes aside so you can get started. Because if you set that same time each week, then that's going to become a great habit for you, and you'll be able to be more consistent and show your money that respect, like at least on a weekly basis, which you may not have been doing in the past. So yeah, we've got diary out, or at that appointment that you set yourself, then I will for you to make note of important dates, for example, radio, insurance, electricity rates, any other personal expenses that you have that come up quickly and frequently, just so you've got an idea when they're going to be coming up you, just so they don't take you by surprise each time. Like, some people forget that Christmas comes around here and they forget to put some money aside for the things that they like to do. It's time to a holiday or presents or whatever they like to do. So next step is timing. So during this time you've scheduled for yourself, after you've written in all the important dates and expenses you have, go do a bit of planning to notice if you have an overview when all your bills come at once. A lot of people have that scenario where the reg is due and the bill's due, and then there's a kid birthday as well. So it's really good to be aware when that time is, so that you can, be aware and that it doesn't cause you any stress when the time comes. And we don't want to find police knocking at your door. So what you can do is allocate a fund allowance and put it in the bill. What a lot of clients do is they tend to feel like they don't have fund in their plan or in their budget, so they may spend more than they would normally. But by just having an amount set aside for that, if you have Barefoot Investor, he recommends 10% for weekly fund money and 10% for longer term goal. That's of your income. So on $100, that becomes this week and $2. So it might be if you spend $100 this week, you've got $10 for yourself to enjoy, maybe coffee, magazine, just some small thing for yourself, maybe a bunch of flowers, whatever you want to do, and then just what you get, and then 10% or $10 toward, which would be a holiday or a course or what you've got in your radar that you'd like to do in the future. So it just means, in a way, I guess, coming into this keeps the ego sort of happy.
Occupied, yeah.
Yeah, occupied. So sort of keeping the ego happy so that you can keep working on other things, and the ego's like content, and it just sort of sits in the background rather than trying to run everything. Does that make sense? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. And the other thing I want to talk about is the secret to a consistent cash flow, even if your family left to overspend. Because I know, I personally have, done the control road. I've tried to have everything organised, and then other members of my family would like to go and have their input and what they want to do. So as the mum, you've got to try and juggle everyone's needs and still stick to the plan that you've created, which, hopefully over the time we'll see everyone's needs met. So what we do with spending money is we have a structure. We recommend a bank account structure which allows for inconsistent income. Inconsistent income because most business often have an inconsistent income. And so what we do, that goes into one bank account, and then we take from that with expenses for food, fuel, and fun, and the things that you need on a weekly basis. So fuel and one together, we identify what that is. But just for the sake of today, we'll go with food, fuel, and fun. And while they're needed, say food, bills, and other expenses, the trick is knowing how much that is. So you can see the graphs on the back. So example of the software we use to create these predictions. And so you can see the top one, and obviously got a lot of red areas in it. And the bottom, obviously, it's nice and green. So that process we go through, we look at where all the are. If you've got a lot of bills coming at one time, that can cause a lot of that business or overdraft, or is or stress already. So then we just go through a process of looking at timing and looking at some different strategies we can do to make sure that you're really growing for the next 12 months. That definitely puts the ego at bay and gives you this sense of inner peace so that you can handle worse situations in the future. Because obviously we can't plan for everything, but by having 80% of everything, then you're certainly a lot more content and handle the other 20%. Yeah, so my expenses are different income available. So you can find yourself spending more weekly, which is on long-term goals. So you don't have to achieve your financial goals, you spend more each week than what's necessary. So the solution I've found is great. So if you post big spending in order to achieve your goals, when you understand why you're doing this, you can be happy spending less. Because a lot of people overlook those two things because they feel restricted and controlled, which good life. But when you start with the end, you make a vision of one, and you can see why it's worthwhile to give yourself an allowance. The best is 10% for your small account and 10% for your wedge account, and then 60% for expenses or bills or run costs, and there's 20% is for income, which is in what stage you're at. It's either an house or save or investment. So you one of those things. Thank you guys. What's happening? Some silence. So the process we use to set up the links is, I was just saying, one, having all one, what do you get it? Two is looking at the structure, which we've just gone through. Use 3 accounts, one for bills, one for liquidity expenses, and one savings. If you've got a business, you've got a business account, and one for your obligations as well. Essentially, the family will use 3 accounts. So yeah, in a system, one we use, we have obviously software. So what I found is it's not fixed. I know I thought when I got the software myself, I thought, oh, this is great. This is going to be the answer to all my problems, all my money worries. But what I learned was there was no quick fix. It was a process of every day. And that's why I say now, you know, it's everyday habits that are going to make a difference where you don't just fix it once and it's going to be an everyday thing. So, but don't get hard as you think. Okay, transaction is number 4. And these are the salary income expenses. That's probably the large job too. If you don't have that already written down anywhere, then that can be the process of going through bank statements and pulling some things together. But that's just if you need more help, I can help you with. So number 5 is meet priorities, and we really need to make sure that we're crawling before we run, because I see some people spending money on things that they're probably not, like, as a spending planner, I don't tell you what to spend your money on. It's completely up to what's your priorities. But if you do it out of ignorance, but it's an awareness that you actually have these essential expenses that you need to pay, but you just don't have the awareness of what, you know, what value that is. You might spend money on luxuries that because you think it's all there, but then when you get to that month when, you know, you'll count once and then all of a sudden you can't afford everything, and then it gets stressful. So what we do is, just make sure all the basics are covered. We sort of divide back to front and we put in all the essentials and we sort of see what's left. So, and you might get surprised during the process if you've been spending over the place. So number 6 is, and the other thing is, you know, priorities. Do that with your partner so that you're both on the same page. That's one of the big challenges I hear with women is that, you know, they've got one sort of plan or idea that they with their wealth, and then the partners have another idea, and so they're sort of battling each other instead of being unified in what they want to achieve together. So definitely just running through your priorities. You might be surprised because you might be thinking, well, that's definitely, you know, not negotiable for him, but you might surprise yourself and say, well, I don't want that anymore. So it really does help you get on the same page with that. Okay, so number 6 is create a plan with dates based on your transaction list and creating priorities. So you may need a period of catching up. We have a clean slate, have a place to get when you get the details together and all that. But once debts are eliminated, you'll have more money for higher priorities and achieve your goals faster. So I know a lot of people do feel down, and so obviously that's that attractive energy, and obviously when you fear that, you're going to get a lot more expensive. So that's why barefoot brings 20% of your income towards debts. And obviously work to one-to-one, we can work on a personalised plan for your family. That's it. I like to automate what we can, reduce our time input, and take ourselves or our family out of the equation. So, because the truth is, there's only one person that's up your plan, which is us, ourselves. So if you can automate things to happen, like as soon as your income hits the bank account, do these automatic transfers, then you don't have that. Which is all the I only came up with this morning. I don't know if you've seen it before, but I love playing with words and looking for meaning in everyday things. And so I found money, because the question was, money. If you take the M and the Y of money, it's telling you what you said. One. Cool. No, yeah. I don't know how you explain it, but
it would be cool if it said they want be one. No, and again, it's not a possessive form of saying it. It's like it's my one, which is
all of everything.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I think I'm going for questions, and I believe your current situation with money was created by your choices and decisions that you made in the past. So lots of the decisions that you make from today are going to impact future results. So, but that's where I think it comes to my one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we're not going to be drawn from people on the live. I want to use my randomizer, because I've got it here. 1 out of 3 is not bad, ladies.
It's 4. You have 4 people.
Sorry, Amira, you're not in. Oh, do you want to be in, Amira? Sorry, I'm just assuming.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're right. You're right. No, Amira, you're in.
You don't need to put me in.
No, you're in. Too bad. Okay, I'm just going to find my. Here we go. Sorry. Come on. No, not that one. Number generator. Come on. Sorry, ladies. Computers. Here we go. 1 to 4. I'm just going to go off the order on the screen. Generate. Number 2. Coming back to you now. Sorry, here we go. Number 2 is Peter. You love this idea.
Oh, hey, wow.
Hey, Peter, you've won a 90-minute Billbuster strategy session.
Oh, that's so exciting. Thank you. I didn't need anything. That's amazing.
You're welcome.
That's awesome.
email you some news about that.
Hey, please do. Thank you. That's great.
I look forward to it.
Me too.
I'll go
Congratulations.
back to one.
Thank you.
I'm pressing buttons everywhere and nothing's happening. So, okay, share. Concentrate, Jenny. Here we go. Share. All right. Well done, Peter. And yeah, I'm just going to leave that there for you guys to think about. If you'd like my help on your journey, what I like to help people do is flow, know and grow with a spending plan. So spending plan is a very flexible solution. It's not controlling your money, but it is definitely organising yourself and your money. So, well, it's not your money, is it? The money. The money that comes into your life. How do we...
Yeah, that's a good one. I don't know. You can call it my money. I mean, I don't personally get attached to labels, but it's just the energy behind what you say, right? If you say my money and you say it with that possessiveness, then it's different to saying my money, but experiencing it as an expression of something that's coming through you and not. Yeah.
I did have a thought about inspiration came to me at one stage about money being like the tide, and it comes in and it comes out and you don't have to worry about it because it's like the tide, it'll come in and it'll go out, but you don't want to be stressed by it going out because you know it's going to come back in, and don't be over the top excited when it comes in because it's going to go out again. So
exactly,
being at that place of inner peace, I guess, where you're able to handle those situations, be it
with more ease.
Know that you've got the organisation to roll forwards, let's say.
Yeah, to roll with both the ins and outs. Yeah. Absolutely.
Cool. So what I offer is for one organisations to help you create vision as possible based on where you are right now using the spending software. That's $385. And at the moment I'm offering 1 month free money magic support, which is where I actually email you each week once we've created your plan, and at the end of the month we do a monthly review. So you're in touch with me by email once a week, and then we have our review each month as well. So I'm throwing that in, that's worth $100. So getting all that support, $85 or $200 a month. So just email me, jenny@moneymind.com.au if you're interested in that. And the last little info is I'm going to be Ilka next month. You know Ilka?
Yeah, I know that.
Yeah, so she's a growing inner wealth creation coach and advanced level 4 faster execution, so she does all the tapping stuff, which can help
to get rid of this block, emotional velocity.
Yeah, about that. So who would like to unmute themselves and ask a question, or does anyone want to type anything in if you don't want to have background noise? We've probably raised more questions than we've answered, maybe.
That's always a good thing.
That is a good thing. Baby's very loud here. Peter's got twins at home.
Oh, yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah.
Little cuties. Any questions, Celie? Have you enjoyed the webinar? Amira's loved the chat today. Thanks, Amira. Loved having you here. Loved having you all here. Weena, did you have a question, or do you want to ask anything of Kat? I know. I'll just re-summarise because I've put it in the... Yes, Peter, just want to say it's been great. Thank you so much. Yes, lots to think about. It's opening a can of worms for sure.
Yeah.
So what I did type in the notes here. I don't know if you saw, Kat, but basically what you were saying was step 1 was to have awareness of what are we having awareness of?
Of yourself, or whatever is happening, of where you have control, where you are thinking you have control, which is really what's controlling you. So where you're putting your power, that's the awareness that we're looking to have. And
the second one was emotions. I just wanted to have a quick review because it's really interesting. So and feeling your emotions.
What emotions arise around the thing that you want to control. and then allowing them instead of resisting them.
Yeah, because I
Giving
think
them
that's what we often do is like, oh, that feels uncomfortable, so I'm going to go and do something else right now.
Yeah, I'm gonna stuff my face with food. That's
yeah.
that's my favorite one. That's my personal favorite.
Yeah, I'm good at that. Oh, you're working, Weena. Awesome. So 3 was allowing those emotions instead of resisting. That's what we just did. Sorry. 4 was staying present.
Which allows then for infinite possibilities to present.
Yeah. So I think that's a really awesome little summary there.
Cool.
Well, that's not.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Kat. Thanks for your time.
You're so
looks
welcome.
like everyone's enjoyed
Pleasure to
it.
be here.
Been some interesting thoughts coming up. So yeah, I'll sign off, but looking forward to talking with you all and talking again with you soon, Catalina.
Same. Okay. Awesome. Thank you so much, Jenny, for having me.
Thanks, everyone. I'll turn off now. Bye.
Bye.